So if you're looking at schools, what are you looking for? Well, the first thing you need to know is, does school even offer merit aid? Again, put your business hat on. If I'm a college that has an acceptance rate of 6, 8, 12, 15%, where is my incentive to give away scholarship dollars? I have none. Why? Because kids are bashing down the doors to get in. They can't wait. They can't wait to come to my school. I don't have to give them money to come, right? So when I talk to families where their student, super smart kid, and they say to me, we're relying on scholarships. And then they say to me, we're looking at Stanford and Duke and Rice and University of Chicago and Columbia and NYU. None of those schools bring merit scholarships to the table. They just don't have to, right? Because if you don't want to pay their $83,000 price tag, I have 100,000 other kids who do, literally, right? So just know not all schools give away scholarship dollars. So when you start looking and you are confident this school will bring merit aid to the table, what are they looking for? Well, the first thing they're looking for is to see kind of how do you as a student align with who our average student is. And as a family, you're going to want to be looking for schools where your students' numbers, GPA and test score, bring them in above the incoming average for the school. Colleges care deeply about their numbers, and this is one of them. Now, it's not the only thing, though. This is important to know. Extracurricular talents, right? How you tell your story matters. Here's the deal in this space: quality experience over quantity of experiences, right? Colleges would rather see a student go deeper than to have 27 things on their list. Be demographically interesting. This is so easy to do. And I had cut us off from this with my kids, right? Remember, I told my kids stay in the state of Minnesota. You are demographically interesting if you are willing to leave your region. Most colleges get the bulk of their applicants from the surrounding area, right? So at the end of the day, interestingly, it can be less expensive to leave your state. So I want to walk you behind the scenes of how a school gives away money. This is a very common recipe card. This is from one college, but if it was only reflective of one school, I wouldn't bother to share it. So when you look at schools and think about what they measure as success, this list represents that. And they're giving money away for students who are going to help them with the things that they care about, right? Parents have a tendency to think about their kids like, my kid is awesome, so schools are going to give them money. And while it's true, their kids are awesome, that isn't why the colleges are giving away the cash. They're giving it to students who help them with things they care about. So demonstrated interest is one of those. What do colleges care about? They care about filling their chairs. And so if you're a student who interacts pretty frequently with a college, guess what they come to understand? You're pretty interested in coming here. And so I'm going to sweeten your pot just a tiny bit. It's like having a fish on your line. Like, I want to reel this bad boy in. And so at the end of the day, a lot of colleges will sweeten the pot for the kids who interact most. Touring, following their social media, showing up at the table when they show up at your high school. All of those things can start to bring money to the table. Look at this. If you live out of state at this school, you get between $2 and $15,000. Why do colleges care about this? Because every rah-rah, we're so awesome admission person talk starts like this. We've got one student from all 50 states of 37 countries around the world. You'll find it on their websites. They build it into their talks. They want a mix of kids on their campus. Most states, kids stay right in their region. 50% of kids go within 100 miles of their house to school. 50%. And I always joke that 49 of the other 50 go within 103 miles of their house. Like, kids talk a big game, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, they don't go far. Every A on the student's transcript, they literally add up all the A's, multiply by a factor of 62 for every rigorous class, AP, IB, PSEO, or other dual credit classes. They add them up, multiply by a factor of 400. For an excellent letter of recommendation at this school, it's worth $1,800. For every point above this school's average that your student's score is on the ACT and they have an SAT equivalent, $425 per point. So in our current landscape, we talk a lot about, test optional schools. Here's what you should know. Even at those schools, this school's been test optional for about 7 years, way before COVID. Schools are still tying that number to scholarship dollars. So no, the tests are not dead. Just for filling out your FAFSA, this school's bringing money to the table. So if you're that family is like, not filling out that stupid FAFSA, right? What waste of time and energy. Actually, at this school, you're walking away from money. This school is also a CSS profile school. So if you don't fill out the forms, you are walking away from $4,300, not once, not twice, but 4 times. I don't know about your time. My time totally worth 17 grand. A really well-written essay at this school worth up to $8,500. This is consistent across schools in the country. We see essays worth $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, right? Here's the deal. At the end of the day, we spend a lot of time. The essay is not a check the box moment. We spend a ton of time on the essays for the students we work with. So Cece mentioned that I do free consultations. I do these every day of the week. I love these. I got into this because I care about this process. It makes me crazy that the colleges lack transparency. And so happy to sit down with you and chat through your own personal college search. These are great tips. They don't fit every single family. And so I'd love to deep dive with you. What are we going to do in our hour together? Well, I'm going to answer your questions around college search. We can talk about those goal areas, academic, social, financial, and then I'll suggest some strategies. I will leave you with some ways to start to think about it. I can give you a rough of the outcome of your FAFSA, that EFC or now Student Aid Index, and suggest strategies then. What pathway should you be looking at? Should you be looking at a mix of schools that bring both need and merit to the table? Or are you indeed the family that is not going to qualify for need-based aid? So let's really focus on merit and how to think about that.